What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to contact me, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today you are tuned in to another episode of The Rundown, where I give you the brief rundown on a bunch of tracks and projects. If you've missed my past couple episodes, make sure you check them out because I've covered a lot of bases. And you will notice that this episode is a little bit shorter because I'm starting to get caught up on all these projects that I've wanted to talk about. We are going to jump right into this one though with Raheem Devaughn and Apollo Brown's project called Lovesick, and I absolutely love this one. Raheem Devaughn is an R&B singer from Newark, New Jersey. For just one example of how dope he is, you can check his feature on Big Crit's song Players Ballad. Absolutely love that track. I still have that in rotation. And as for Apollo Brown, he is a producer coming out of Detroit who's known for his soul sampling skills. For one great example of that, you can just check out the project he did with Shay Noir called As God Intended. That made my year-end list when it came out, and I still come back to that too. So these are two artists who I think work together really well, and what you get here is some traditional R&B with hip-hop flavor sprinkled on top, man, like some paprika on deviled eggs. The song When a Man has that OG soul sound as Raheem sings about what he would do for a woman when he sprung like a slinky, and I Still Love You does cover some pretty familiar territory as it's all about him being on the grind and still loving his girl, but it just sounds so good, man. He's not really breaking the mold with a lot of the themes and content here. You are getting the typical lovey-dovey R&B stuff as expected. You're gonna get some nasty tracks on here too, like If I Made Love to You, where he has lines about making a woman's legs go numb and making her squirt like a water hose. Make sure you put down some tarp if you're gonna do that. And on the song Honey, Raheem is singing in falsetto as he says he's gonna make a woman pour out her cakes like maple syrup. As a Canadian, obviously I gotta appreciate that reference. And to make things even better are some great features. You have Sky Zoo popping up on If You're the One with some really dope lines, including Sucker for a Body, who got even better quotes. It's like Alexa Sky reading Ta-Nehisi quotes. And this one has a 90s feel to the production, so I especially love that about it. Has these bouncy drums and organ keys. Apollo Brown is at his best on this one. I also thought 3D Nati, I hope I'm saying her name right, floated on the song Zaddy. You might recognize the sample here because it's the same one from Memphis Bleek's song Dear Summer. And then with the track Just Fall in Love, we get an excellent West Side Boogie feature. Just the way that he flows and that sing-songy style works really well with this R&B rap sound, and the content is dope too. This is a track that's all about how men are sometimes afraid to fall in love. They're afraid to put themselves out there. They're just telling you, don't be afraid to love, man. There's a lot of good things that come from it. Do yourself a favor, fall in love, you'll only be better for it. So in a world of heavy auto-tune and vocal effects, I really love this project, and I am going to give it 9 R&B albums for the OGs out of 10. Raheem Devaughn is slaying the vocals on here. Apollo Brown has great production from start to finish. This is something that is going to be in my top 5, I think, by the end of the year. We'll see what happens. Either way, check it out. It is a highlight of 2021. Up next is Bobby Sessions with his album Manifest, and this is one of those projects that caught me by surprise because I had never heard of this dude until you guys started putting me up on him. He's a rapper from Dallas, Texas who absolutely flows his ass off all over this one. I especially like those bouncy flows on Luxurious Serenity, and there's a lot of variety here, so he does keep things fresh as you listen through. In particular, I really like some of the lavish tracks here like Penthouse Prayers. This one is just stellar. It is wavier than Wave Race 64, so naturally Rick Ross fits in perfectly here over the twinkling keys and sax. And then with Champagne and a Phantom, we're getting an elegant track where Bobby is spitting all kinds of smooth shit, like when he says his mouth tastes like champagne and pussy. Shout out to Spumante. But Bobby does get deeper on some of these tracks as well. The song Distractions of the Flesh really stood out to me because he's getting introspective about the trappings of money and sex over the soulful backdrop, and on Cog in the Machine, he's dealing with the anxiety that so many of us face from that day-to-day monotony. You know what it's like. You wake up, you go to that 9 to 5, you come home, deal with a bunch of shit, sleep, you wake up, go to that 9 to 5 over and over. He's really addressing this while also inspiring us to work at our dreams and not give up. It's just sometimes you feel like a cog in the machine. Dope track where he also showcases some nice hook singing skills, so you're getting a lot of versatility from Bobby here. That is something that I appreciate. To further come through with the versatility, he gives us Dream More, Doubt Less. This one is so much fun because it sounds like a 90s dance rap track, something from like the 69 Boys or Quad City DJs. You'll know what I mean when you hear the drum style. Then we get Heaven on Earth. This one is just infectious with bouncy production and more of those great flows. And then with Celebration of Your Higher Self, we're getting this psychedelic guitar track where Bobby is dealing with mental health and taking care of yourself. So he's covering a lot of bases here. He does all these styles really well, and there's even a track with Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs called Gold Rolex. Just when you see that in the track list, who's featured and the title, you already know it's going to be dope, and it doesn't disappoint. It's a very soulful track where they all have great verses. I especially liked what Freddie was doing on here, because he does reference the Ghetto Boys song Mind's Playing Tricks on Me, as well as Dr. Dre's The Chronic. So this is a great album. I'm going to give it 8.5 best surprises out of 2021 out of 10. That was complicated to say with all those numbers in there, but I urge you not to sleep on this one, because I think a lot of you are going to like it as much as I did. And now, we gotta talk about Migos and Culture 3. Do we really need to talk about this? We don't need to go in depth, because it is what it is. As soon as you saw this project, what it was called, who it was from, and that long-ass track list, you already knew what you were gonna get with this one. They're still working the same flows, you're getting a lot of the same production styles, all the same content. It feels like you're listening to the same 2 or 3 songs over and over. If you are not bored by the Migos by now, maybe you'll like this, but if you've been tired of them, there's just nothing new here. I can give them credit for, putting together some fun background music and party tracks. I do get the appeal of it, but this is just so boring and generic and repetitive. Like, they really need to switch it up, man. Sometimes sequels do not work. Do we really need Culture 3? Did we really need to see Leprechaun go to space? Did we really need to see Leprechaun go to the hood twice? That's a stupid question. Yes, we did, man. Those movies were fucking dope. Who am I kidding, man? Leprechaun in space, Leprechaun in the hood, fucking around with Ice-T and all that. Those were good movies, but you know what? At least they did something new. At least they did something new with those Leprechaun movies. What are the Migos doing? They aren't doing anything that's new. Maybe they need to take some advice from the Leprechaun movies and go to space. Make an album called Migos in Space, have them on the cover in fucking spacesuits, rapping about planets and shit like that. That would be more interesting than what we're getting out of Migos. So I'm gonna give this one 3 Migos need to go to fucking space out of 10. Hell, it even worked for Jason, the Friday the 13th movies. They took his ass to space with Jason X, and that was a little bit different. That was kind of exciting. Migos, get your ass in a fucking rocket and go to space. But now we can talk about a track I really like, and that is Isaiah Rashad with Headshots for the Locals. This is exactly what I wanted to hear from Isaiah Rashad, because it has that Sylvia demo sound. The beat is so smooth and relaxing, just makes you feel like you're laying in a waterbed, stoned, just melting into that shit. Not in the bad way, like when Freddie pulled that kid under the bed when it was like a waterbed of blood. You don't want that shit. But I'm just saying it's very cozy and comfortable. I'm kind of getting some Outkast vibes here from the layback production, as well as the hook singing. Takes me back to like the early 90s Outkast. For those kids out there, you might not remember that shit, but it was really smooth and mellow. And I do appreciate that second verse where Isaiah addresses the positive changes he's been trying to make, because he was away for a while dealing with some shit. So this one's not too content heavy. I know it's a cop-out to say it's all about the vibe, but this shit is all about the vibe, man. If you're a hardcore Isaiah Rashad fan, I think this is what you wanted. I give this one 2 thumbs up. You know I don't go rating tracks out of 10, but this is a damn good track. So between this track and Lay With Ya, I am really looking forward to Isaiah's project The House Is Burning, which I think is due out soon. And if you want to know my opinions on Lay With Ya, you can just check one of the earlier rundown episodes. I think it was episode 24 where I did talk about it. But yeah, man, things are looking promising for Isaiah Rashad. Headshots for the Locals is fire. And guess who's back again? No, it's not Eminem, like that old song. I'm talking about Tyler, the Creator, with Lumberjack. And this was a refreshing song from Tyler, because with his past work, well, recently, he has been doing some more experimental, smooth R&B, soulful, lovey-dovey type of shit. But this is just Tyler rapping over this grimy-ass beat that is basically the same as the beat from the Gravediggers song 2 Cups of Blood. And Gravediggers, by the way, are a very, very dope group. If you're not up on them, I highly recommend you check out their project 6 Feet Deep, because it is a classic. I also appreciate the DJ Drama Gangsta Grills drop on here, because it takes me back to simpler times when we actually used to go on DatPiff and download mixtapes. Remember those days? Man, those were great. I miss those days. And Tyler is in his braggy bag on here, as he's rapping about owning companies, winning Grammys, and having whips on whips like his ancestors. I know, that's nothing new. Are we not tired of these whip and ancestor lines by now? I'm pretty sure we are. But regardless, this is a dope track overall. You do get some of that Tyler humor as well when he spits, "My nigga tall look like a bitch, I call him Mulan." That actually made me laugh. And by the way, let's do a Disney princess, a fine Disney princess ranking here. Who do we have at number 1? If you're watching this, I gotta go with Jasmine, man. Jasmine's gotta be number 1, but I digress. I'm gonna give this one 2 thumbs up as well. I think this is really refreshing. I'm curious to see where Tyler is gonna go with his next project. It's called Call Me If You Get Lost, due out June 25th. Tyler, man, coming through with some hardcore, grimy shit. Kind of takes me back to stuff that he was doing when he first came out. It's not exactly the same. You're not getting a lot of shock rap or anything in here, but he's rapping on some grimy boom bap shit. Check it out. But before we wrap up here, there are 2 more projects that I want to talk about, starting with Mereba's EP called AZEB. Hopefully I'm saying her name right, as well as the EP title. Now I'm wondering if I am. But anyway, this shit is really dope. She's a rapper and singer from Alabama. And if you're looking for a versatile artist who's going to give you some nice R&B with some nice flow snuck in there, you definitely don't want to sleep on this project, or her in general, because I was sleeping. I'm kind of embarrassed now, man. I should have been listening to her long in advance, because this is a nice starter. First of all, she has a very dreamy and warm vocal approach. I love how she sounds on the spacey track My Moon, as well as a gentle guitar groove called Gold. But the song that stands out the most here is Rider. I've had this in heavy rotation because I just absolutely love the steel drums and soft percussion. Very mellow, almost hypnotic track. So this is one I've come back to a lot, and I think you guys will like it too. We get another standout with A, has breezy production, a catchy hook. Mereba is on here effortlessly switching between rapping and singing, and this one gets especially hypnotic on the end. Once you get to the bridge and the outro, you're really going to hear great things happening with her harmonies, and this is a song that's all about seeking peace through these trying times. You're not going to get a lot of content here overly fleshed out because it is just an EP, but you will pick up on these types of things, looking after yourself, finding peace, keeping peace, black empowerment, and that is something that I appreciate. You are going to get more of this on News Come, where she's singing about fighting for freedom and hoping for a better future. Kind of like Captain Planet, but without the green ass mullet. So yeah, man, short project, not too much to break down here, but it's really dope, versatile, rapping, singing, warm. These are some of the ways I would describe it, and I give it 7.5 beautiful black queens out of 10. Mereba, check it out. And lastly, we have a project that a lot of you have been asking me about. It's Mach-Hommy with Pray for Haiti. Mach-Hommy is a rapper who's coming out of Newark, New Jersey, and he is signed to Griselda Records, so that right there kind of lets you know what you're in for, because you are going to get that traditional hip-hop sound with grimy shit attached. One thing that does set this apart from other Griselda releases, though, in my opinion, is that it's a bit more smooth, more laid back, some softer jazz, and even his flow is a bit more subdued. So this is probably my favorite Griselda project in a long time. I'm happy to talk about it, starting with the Stellar Ray Theory. This is such a dope track. I love the jazzy production on it, and it's cool what Mach does with one of his verses because he borrows from Jay-Z's song, Takeover. If you know that song, you know what I'm talking about. He's taking some lines from there, but making it his own. Really just refreshing how he did that. I appreciated it. And another song that immediately stuck out to me is No Blood, No Sweat. He is just flowing effortlessly over these shimmering keys. I feel like his beat selection is perfect because he fits all these production styles, and he's just one of those rappers who sounds so natural, he could probably do it in his sleep, man. You get some nice bars on this track, like when he spits, "Oh word, your rap's braggadocious, put this 38 in your mouth, go ahead and spit your magnum opus." And the quality bars, they do not stop there. You can go to McCrell Jackson. He's floating over the soulful production and warning you that he's still got them Andre Kirilinkos. This is a reference to the jazz player whose alias was AK-47. And even though I didn't like the wonky horn beat on the 26th letter, I did like when he said he would let them caps fly without no graduation. It's actually kind of funny because the 26th letter is the first song, and it's my least favorite song. So when I first went into this project, I was like, I'm not really into this song. I'm going to see where this goes, but it does get much better, and that song did grow on me a bit, but it's certainly not one of my favorites. As you can see, you do get the usual Rambo, Contra, shoot 'em up, bang bang bars on here, but there is some other stuff too, and he does keep it fresh. The song Marie, this is another light and jazzy affair where he's showing some women appreciation. You're also getting a Tupac Hail Mary sample that fits very well, and we get some controversial lines on Magnum Band. What he says is, picture niggas reaping the benefits off Mach-Hommy hype, trying to see the capital off the steez like Johnny Shipes. I ain't going to be the one flying off a building. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy with this because it has to do with Capital Steez, who committed suicide by jumping off of a building. But I do see what some other people are saying here, how it's not really aimed at him. It's talking about these people who take advantage of artists. So I do understand what he's getting at, but anytime you make a reference like that, obviously it's going to hit home for people and they're not going to appreciate it. So I can understand that point of view. I also got to shout out the song Au Revoir. This has one of my favorite beats on it with that guitar. You have some flutes coming in, as well as great vocals from Melanie Charles. And the hook on here of Au Revoir, pussy nigga, goodbye. It's just charming. C'est très bien. Oui, oui. I appreciated what he was doing on that one. Sticking with the French, we have a song called Folie à Deux. This is another favorite. You got West Side Gun sounding right at home over this production. Has sort of like a toy box lullaby sound to it. And since I've talked about the production so much, I gotta shout out Conductor Williams, who did most of it. As you listen through this project, it becomes obvious because you will hear these little Conductor name drops at the start of a lot of beats. So this is a really dope album to me. I can see this making my top 10, possibly sneaking into my top 5, depending on how the rest of the year plays out. So I'm gonna give it 8.5 Mach 5s out of 10. Shout out to your boy Speed Racer. He's a psychopath. If you don't know what I mean, look up Speed Racer as Psycho to see some funny clips, or maybe I'll post it in the comments section. But yeah, we made it through another gauntlet. There's a bunch of reviews for you guys. It is starting to get busy for hip-hop now, honestly. I'm kind of glad that it is. We got Tyler, the Creator, dropping, Isaiah Rashad, Vince Staples. I'm sure Drake is going to be dropping sometime soon. Maybe Kendrick is eventually going to come out. I mean, Isaiah Rashad first. We'll see what TDE does. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any other projects you want me to get to. I do have some on my backlog that I'll get to eventually, but like I said at the start, now that I'm getting caught up, these episodes will be a little bit shorter because I'm not going to be reviewing like 15 to 20 projects in one video, which actually works better because it keeps me fresh and up to date, and it keeps you up to date. So thank you for watching, everybody. Make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love, you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.